you so much for joining us. Could I just get you to start off with a little introduction about your background and where you're working?
So I'm Christina, I'm with Creative Partnerships Australia, and we are a federally funded organisation that is about growing the culture of giving in Australia in order to build a more ambitious and confident arts sector.
Fantastic.
So we do that by upskilling staff within arts organisations to be more effective fundraisers, but also by celebrating those who are already giving and encouraging more people in Australia to support a really valuable arts sector.
Wonderful. Can you just give me a little rundown on what the financial landscape looks like for the arts? Where do companies generally get their money from?
So arts organisations on average do really well at generating their own income. And I think that's sometimes a misconception that arts are just putting their hand out for money from other sources. You know, it varies depending on the art form, obviously, but our research shows that on average an arts organisation raises about 40% of their money from earned income. Another third comes from government of all levels, and then about a quarter is from the private sector. Cool. And that can be from individuals or foundations or companies.
Fantastic. So thinking about that private sector funding, but I guess funding generally, just then you were talking a lot about impact and the different ways that companies can show the value of what they're doing. Can you talk a little bit about that and what companies maybe should be taking advantage of?
You mean arts companies?
Yeah.
I think we sometimes get caught up in the immediate need for money, because obviously that is critical to then delivering on our promise as an organisation.
Yeah.
But to speak to someone from the private sector as opposed to government, there has to be a longer term vision for your organisation. So you need to know what you stand for and why you exist as a company, and to be able to talk about that compellingly, emotionally, and with evidence. So impact measurement in the arts is traditionally a bit harder. So much of what we do has intangible benefits, but the youth arts sector is in a unique position to tap into evidence-based research around impacts of health and well-being, on education. You know, participation in arts is clearly benefiting young people from executive functions through to confidence and team building, through to storytelling and identity. So I think an arts organisation, if they don't already have their own research, look out into the world, what's free, what reflects on their organisation is relevant for them, and how can they demonstrate to potential funders the role that you play in the community and the impact you have on those different participants.
I love that. I love that because it's not just focused about the art that you're making, it's about the sort of ripple effect of that art. That's really cool. Thank you for that. So when thinking about sustainability for arts organisations and relationship building with funding bodies, can you give us a little bit of insight about how to go about that?
The key to successful fundraising, and when you think about it in a philanthropic sense, not just kind of one-off ask, is really about building long-term impact with your supporters. So when thinking of the private sector, be it an individual donor giving you something at annual tax time, or a significant individual with a long-standing relationship with your organisation giving you a really meaningful gift, all of those relationships require time and effort to build a meaningful, mutually beneficial relationship, so that over time you're building a base of supporters who really value what you do. So finding strategies that are meaningful to different parts of your audience, and taking the time and having patience. This is a long game, and to build a sustainable stream of income from the private sector requires planning and really meaningful relationships and finding those mutually beneficial moments for you and those supporters.
Really helpful. Thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
that's so valuable.